Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. As you can see, I now have a train. I decided to take care of this offline. Hope nobody's upset, but you've seen me do trains before. And this was nothing really much different than what I've done previously. So here's what I did. I built this train line through the center of the base, one rail in each direction, and I came outside the base and took a left turn down here to this iron patch. Ah, nice. It must be on its way back. That's a new, I think that's a new achievement. I don't recall seeing that one before. And what I did is I just put two mining depots on each train car. The mining depots are 3 tiles wide, so 2 of them fit perfectly across the width of a train car. And then I have them set up with stack inserters, right? So the train comes down, it'll load directly from the mining depots, and then I just have a little U-turn down here. For visibility, I just put one of these sentinels down here. I didn't feel like I really needed a radar for any more coverage. And then as you can see, I walled in this whole area and put around some laser turrets. I decided not to do guns or flames down here so that I don't have to worry about ammunition. At some point, I may need to bring some bots and repair packs to do repairs. But so far, I don't think there have been any attacks. Actually, you know what I should do? I should put one of those pollution thingies down here. Maybe it's not going to matter. I got pollution everywhere. Yeah. I probably should, though. Let's do, let's put an air filter down there. Air purifier. That's what I mean to say. Oh, before I do that, though, let's take a look at the rail crossing. So these are kind of semi-automatic. Now there's 2 ways you can manage the rail crossings with automatic gates, and it depends on whether you want to prioritize the train or you want to prioritize your other traffic, which usually is foot traffic. But in this case, I have drones, transport drones. Now, I also happen to know that transport drones don't collide with trains. The train can run right over them, and neither of them will be damaged. So it's not really much of an issue in that regard. But I set this up so that if you get close to a gate and the gate opens, it'll make the signal go red. Okay, so this way you can go through whenever you want, and if there's a train coming, it's going to be stopped. Rather than reading the signal from the train signal and closing the gates permanently. I think I kind of like this better because trains are not usually terribly time sensitive. So if a train gets delayed, it doesn't bother me as much as if I get delayed. But for this to work, you just have to remember to cross where the gates are. So I'll just show you the logic here. So I set the rail signal to close if G is greater than 0. And output signal G, read sensor. Okay, so what this does is when you get close enough to it so that the gate lowers, it'll send a G signal over the wire. That'll go to the train signal, and it'll turn it red. And I hooked up both of them, so whichever direction you come across, it'll turn it red. So on this track, I control the signal to the left since the train's coming left to right, and up here it's on the opposite side. Okay, so let's get an air purifier down where the mining is going on. I need a bit of plastic so I can craft one, and then I'll grab a handful of filters. And one stack of filters. If they last 3 minutes, 300 minutes, that'll last for 5 hours. Whoops. And while I was down there, what is this? Okay, that's all right. While I was down there setting up the mine, I also put a teleporter so that I can teleport there. I love the teleporters. This is new, logistics warehouse. It's got 200 slots in it, so rather than a bunch of small logistics chests, I just put one big storage chest. Okay. Let me see what chunk we're in. Alright. Yeah, so I'll put it right here in this chunk. This is where most of the action is taking place. Whoops. Actually, let me move this over. Nope. Where is it? There it is. One in and one out. Okay, the drones. I'm not sure how much pollution the drones make. Okay. Yeah, and it's the drones that make pollution, not the depots themselves. So it looks like the drones make about 1 pollution per minute each, right? This is going to clean 100 per minute. I've got 160. So let's make one more air filter. And I'll take half of these. Oh, I'm out of wooden chests. Okay. There. So that should be enough to completely absorb all the pollution that we're generating, and that'll hopefully prevent any biter attacks. Okay. Pardon my coffee sipping. I love my coffee. Okay, good. So we've got iron. Yeah, and then my idea for this rail system on the unloading side is just to unload directly into supply depots. And then the transport drones will go there to pick up ore instead of to the mining depots. I do still have one mining depot on iron, but this is the last little bit of iron that we have left in the starting area. 46K, so that'll be gone pretty soon. We still have a pretty healthy amount of copper. Stone and coal both look good. But when we need more copper, I'll put a station here for copper. And we'll find a suitable copper patch, which right now would appear to be one of these, or both. For stone, I don't see any stone patches. Oh, here's some stone over here. Yeah, the stone is a little bit hard to see on the map. I think it would be good if they chose... Oh, here's a huge stone patch down there. And then we can do the same with oil. We got lots of crude oil here. Actually, to get those, I'll probably just expand the base since they're fairly close. But in any case, so that's the idea. We'll just have these unloading stations close to where they're needed. So we'll put a copper station here. We'll put, you know, maybe we'll put coal over here to feed the coke production. You know, stone could be, actually could be on this side where the iron is. So fairly simple. Of course, this system will only support, you know, I don't have any stacker or anything, so this is likely only able to support one train at a time. If we end up having to bring in multiple trains, then I would need to set up a stacker of some kind. Oh, also where the train exits the base, I had to kind of rearrange things right here. And I've got power poles coming out here, so I removed the flame turret from this position because I was afraid that it would damage my power lines. I'm not sure if it does, but I know that the flames don't damage stone walls, but I think they will damage anything else. So I just took out this flame turret where these two pipes are, and left everything else. And then I just put a couple of gates where the rails cross. And then down on this end, since I don't need to go out here, I haven't gone outside the wall yet, and I just put a U-turn here so that the trains can turn around to go back. Okay, so we just finished explosive rocketry, which gives us explosive rockets, as you might imagine. I don't know what I would use those for right now, but they are there if needed. I got a bunch of other weapons upgrades done. We also have bioprocessing available now, which will I think allow us to make biomass without having to raid enemy bases. So I can make that with petroleum and oxygen in a biolab. Where am I making oxygen? I'm making oxygen up here, right? Yeah. And I think I actually have an excess of production because I didn't notice at the time that these have a crafting speed of 1.5, these machines. So I'm actually making more oxygen than I need over here. So I could take oxygen from here and petroleum from here, and I could use that to make biomass. Let's see how much biomass I have in supply right now. 643. And for my military research, currently, I've got 4 machines. Biter research data. All right, let me go over there. All right, so 2 biomass every 10 seconds. No, 10 biomass every 40 seconds. Okay, for 1 biter research data, I need 2 biomass every 40 seconds. And I'm using 4 every 20 seconds. All right. I think I need to start using Factory Planner. Military tech card. Amount, I am making 45 per minute. Right, because I have 4 machines, which is, it's a 1 per second design, but I have a 0.75 crafting speed on these machines, so it's 45 per minute. That's what I'm making. From that recipe. Okay. And we're making biter research data. Okay, so I need 18 biomass a minute to keep this production running. No recipes match your filter conditions. That's not true, is it? I have the biolab. Bioprocessing. And it's researched. I wonder why it considers that unresearched. Okay, 3.6 biolabs. So let's make 4 biolabs, and that'll give us all the biomass that we need, and then I don't have to bother. Ooh, I don't have enough to make 4. I can make 3. The truck stole it. Okay, now I can make 4. I need some glass. I have glass up here. One, 2, 3, 4. Great. And it's getting more biomass from somewhere else. Okay, so this way I don't have to bother shoveling it up from the ground whenever I kill a nest. And actually I won't have to actually go out and kill nests anymore if I don't want to. I kind of want to, but I don't have to. It's good to have the option. All right, so I think I'll I'll make this, should I make it? I think I should make it where I'm doing the research. So let's put a fluid depot. Where we can store oxygen. And we'll bring in the oxygen by transport drone. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and remove this. How big are these things? These are fairly large. I could make them here. No, I don't want to get in the way of that. So I'll have to belt it down there. But I could craft it. I could craft it up here. No, I think I will continue to move it by truck. That'll just be easier. Or by drone, rather. Okay. That's kind of a bummer. I would rather have the oxygen and petroleum on opposite sides instead of like this. Okay, well I guess I can, I think the oxygen will pass through if I do it this way. We'll find out in a moment. All right, so this will be for oxygen gas, and this will be for petroleum gas. All right, that should do it. I did set up some logistics. So I have bots bringing me stuff. Okay, now they're going to pick up. Let's just wait and make sure this works. We can pick our next research in the meantime. Oh, by the way, I'm powering the trains or I'm powering the train right now with this fuel that I'm making in the refinery. So I do need to do refueling for the trains. So let's add that as a task. And maybe I'll use Train Supply Manager so that they'll refuel automatically. I think I probably will. That way I can just make a single refueling station and the trains will just automatically go there when they need fuel. Yeah. Okay, so they're using this fuel, which I know has 15 megajoules, but there's no tooltip that talks about pollution, acceleration, or top speed. So I think it's just 100% for all three of those for that fuel. Let's make sure we're getting oxygen on all the machines. Yeah, okay, so the oxygen does pass through. Good. So this should work fine once the petroleum gets here. And then we have options for additional fuel types. There's this biofuel. So we can take 10 or 6 regular fuel plus some biomethanol and make biofuel. It has the same fuel value. It makes half as much pollution, but it has less acceleration and less top speed. And maybe it's efficient because you get 10 from having 6 of the regular fuel canisters. Let's start researching that. And then later on, there's also an advanced fuel, which takes 10 fuel plus 6 immersite powder to make 10 fuel. So that appears to be the less efficient option. Again, the same fuel value of 15 megajoules, but that one gives you 175% pollution, but 125% acceleration and top speed. So this is like the race fuel, and this is like the petroleum ethanol mix that most of us are probably running in our cars. Okay, so I'm going to start that research. I think maybe I'll use that. Biofuel. So let's add that to our to-do list as well. Actually, I'll just add it to this with biofuel. Okay. And then we have reinforced plates, which I think... All right. Yeah, this is just paving, essentially. Gives you 175% walking speed. Production tech cards. We should research that. Lithium processing. That'll give us lithium chloride and lithium, which I guess we're going to need at some point. Nuclear power. I think we definitely want that. Advanced crafting speed. Let's do it. Personal lasers. Let's do it. Okay, and we'll just knock our way through... the rest of this research that we can do with the science cards that we have, which will take us up to about here. And hopefully the petroleum will get here sometime today. Here it comes. That's pretty cool. I like the animation on that. think I can hear like a little heartbeat. Very cool. Let's check our power. We're doing fine on power production. I've got 13.5 gigajoules of stored energy in this battery array, which I'm pretty happy with. That should take care of our laser turrets quite well. And this gives us what? 5 at a time. Okay. That's done. Okay. So let's start. I'm going to delete this. Let's start looking at enriched ores. Let's start with copper, because I just added a huge supply of iron, so copper is going to be the next one to run out. So let's take care of that one first. How much do I need? That is a very good question. Whoops. I want enriched copper. How much enriched copper do I want? I don't know. Let's just say 1,000 to start with. And let's look at our production. Let's look at the last hour. Okay, so over the last hour, we have been consuming 493 copper ore per minute. And we need half as much copper ore as copper plate. So let's just shoot for the same amount. Let's go for 500. Let's go for 500 a minute enriched ore. Okay. And that way we'll have the ability to double our output of copper plate. Okay, and we're going to get that from this recipe. Copper ore, sulfuric acid, and water. 4 chemical plants, 4.1 chemical plants. We might have to start making more sulfuric acid at some point. But for now, I think we can manage all this. Right, so half of 750 is 375, right? So to get double the amount of copper plates that we're making today with enriched ore, we need less than double the amount of copper ore, right? Because we've been consuming about 475 per minute. So 475 divided by 750 is 0.63, or let's do it the other way. 750 divided by 475 is 1.57. Okay, so we need to increase our copper ore by 60% with this new recipe to get twice as much copper plate. So that's a good efficiency boost. And then we're going to have dirty water, which I am already in a position to process. But I may need to expand that. In fact, I would be surprised if I don't have to. Okay, so 5 chemical plants. And that's it, right? So let's go over to where our copper depots are, our copper ore depots, and we'll process it into enriched copper over there. Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to shut this one down. We'll just mine with these two. And these could be moved closer. Maybe I should enable the reach, the long reach research too on my quality of life mod. I think that would be nice to have. And it's not too cheaty, in my opinion. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Enriched copper, please. I already have a water line right here, which is very convenient. It's actually not going anywhere. That's fine. Okay, and then we need acid in, and then we're going to have dirty water out. Oh, and we also need to get the copper ore in. This needs to be a fluid depot. Okay. I need 9 ore every 3 seconds. That's 3 per second. I think I can handle it with 1 red inserter. Don't quote me on it, but I think I can. Does this seem right to you? 5 machines. single yellow belt of copper. Right, I'm making 2 per second times 5, 10 per second is going to feed my entire base. That doesn't seem like enough to me, but let's see how it goes. Okay, and actually let's get that out too. And I'm going to set the input priority to that supply depot so we can empty that out first. There we go. Okay, now let's go to copper smelting. And we're going to have to start to wean that off of copper ore and start using enriched copper instead. Okay, so I'm going to remove the drones. And then we just have to wait until all the copper that's here already gets used, which may take a while. Oh, by the way, I made a mistake earlier when I started switching over to solid fuel as a fuel source. I messed up my steel production because steel plate actually uses coke as an ingredient as well as fuel. So once these belts got full of solid fuel, I wasn't making steel anymore. So I had to go back to using coke as a fuel source for the steel production. Right, here we still have a little bit of coke left on the belts. I think we're not using copper all that much. Okay, so if we're using 400 and something copper ore a minute, and I've got 10,000 copper ore in here, it's gonna take about 20 minutes before all this copper ore is gone. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit before I can switch this over to enriched. So we could start working on enriched iron as well. Now in this case, oh, I don't like this at all. I want these to be balanced. How can I ensure that? Can I hook these up to circuit network? No, I can't. That's tragic. Oh, what a pain. That really sucks. If I could move it. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let me put down a few chests because I need to empty this out so I can move it. I need to move it by one tile. UPS guy is here. Okay, so this one is going to go that way, and this one is going to go that way. I'm going to get an Arithmetic Combinator. No, I can't put it there. All right, first let's get this fed back in. And let's put all this iron back in. Okay. Is this the best way to do this? Yeah. See, we can't control which of these the drones are going to pull from, so they have to be constantly rebalancing with one another so that the train can unload evenly. All right. So let me get my Arithmetic Combinator. And I'm going to take the input of 1 and multiply it by -1. And then I'm going to add it to this one. Okay. So now we can see that we have a signal of 8.9K. That means that this one has more than this one by 8,900. Right? Because this one's got 20,000 and the other one has 11,000. So if that is a positive number, then I want this belt to turn on. Not everything. If anything is greater than 0, let's say greater or equal to 0, then that belt will turn on. And in this case, if anything is less than 0, that'll turn on. So if this one holds more than this, then we'll have a negative number, and this belt will activate, which will feed into there. So this should keep these two containers balanced with the same quantity. And this would be even better if it were faster. So let's upgrade it to red. That way it'll be like having two belts, and then this belt will be able to still unload as well. There we go. Okay, so now it can transfer between containers as fast as it's coming in from the train. All right, now just as an experiment, let's get rid of the train so that we're not constantly bringing in new material. Okay, and then we'll see these gradually get closer and closer in value 6.2, 6.1, 6. All right, and then once that number gets to be very close to 0, these will be balanced, and then these two are probably just going to be fluctuating constantly back and forth because it's never going to reach a condition where they both stop. Although it could. There. If they ever reach exactly the same value, then both of them will turn off. If it's equal to 0. Or we could say, here, let's do this. If it's greater than 100. Okay, so that way, as long as they're within 100 of one another, it'll stop. So we're not just constantly playing games because because the belt itself can hold, I think it's what, 8 items? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think that's actually on there. Yeah, the belt itself can hold 8 items. So it turns on and then it's moving 8 back and forth constantly. Okay, so this way once it gets within 100, they'll both turn off. Okay, now the issue I've got with the iron is that I'm unloading it right here, and I should really be unloading the iron ore where I want to process it into enriched iron. So I think I should start, what I should do is move my, I should move my iron station over here. And I'll decommission that one. Okay. Yeah, see, now they're balanced within 100 of one another. And then with this setup, if I'm going to process it right over here, I don't even need this business. Where else am I using iron ore? I don't think I'm using it anywhere else. Only there, right? Yeah, and again, I'm going to process the iron ore into enriched iron for smelting. So, and in this case, I can belt it across. All right. So, how big are these big containers? Is this better than a chest? How many slots does it have? 120 versus 48 for a steel chest. Yeah, so these are bigger. And the warehouse, I think, is too big. The warehouse is this size, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 by 6. I could go into a warehouse and then belt it immediately across. If I use warehouses, though, it's going to be hard to... It's not going to leave me much room for belts in between and around the warehouses. So I don't think warehouses are going to be practical, just because of the amount of space that I have here. So let's make, I need 12 of these. And we'll just unload into these guys. Alright, and that should be, these can be stack inserters now. And I would like to unload these in a fairly balanced way. Okay. There we go. All right, and these can be like this. Right, I think 6 blue inserters will load the belt. Yeah. Almost exactly. Yeah, actually it looks like 4, 4.5, 4 1/3 or so. Okay, so 5 more chemical plants. Is this worth blueprinting? Yeah, probably it is. Oh, and I have water over here too. How nice. Okay, and we'll change this to Enriched Iron. Now this is 9 iron ore. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the same. Same recipe. 1, 2, 3. I think that's what I had. Okay, let's see, water. There. Okay, and that'll give us enriched iron. Okay, and I've got quite a lot of iron here. So in this case, we can get rid of that actually. In this case, I'm just going to wait until all the iron ore that's in my, you know, bot network or whatever you want to call it, drone network, has been consumed. And then we'll switch it over to enriched iron. Let's see. Yeah, and it looks like the same productivity gain. For iron as it is for copper. It looks like these are actually not quite fast enough. Let's see. Do I get another... Superior inserters? Ooh. Okay. That'll help us. In the meantime, we'll have to do this a little bit differently. Oh, duh. It's not going to reach, is it? All right, how do I solve this? No. There we go. There. Now I can load it fast enough. There we go. And I'm going to have to go do the same thing on the copper line, obviously. Okay, well, that's enough for today. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.